Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today I want to talk to you all about something that I run on one of my guns. I think that if you're running the Surefire X300 that you really should look into. It is the paddle shifter from Emissary Development. If you guys haven't heard of Emissary Development, they're a company that's producing a lot of really neat products that are going to make your end user experience a lot more enjoyable. The paddle shifter here being prime among them. Their handbrake is also very popular with a lot of guys who are running M-LOK or Picatinny rails and you like the reverse BCM VFG vibe. You can go ahead and pick up one of their handbrakes, and a lot of guys really like it. And it's not technically a vertical grip, so if you're still playing with AR pistol rules, that fills a really niche category, and it's actually probably one of my favorite grips. I've been alternating between that and the BCM on my 11.5 inch SBR, and we have one on my wife's 10.5 inch just because I had it and it's awesome. But again, I want to talk about the paddle shifter here, and let's give some context. For a long time, I was actually running the Streamlight TLR1, or the TLR1 HL is what I upgraded to. I have it mounted here on a Gen 1 M&P, and this is actually a really good light, especially if you're a little bit more budget conscious, right? And you're trying to give yourself maximum capability while saving where you can. A lot of people really like the Streamlight. I actually really like the Streamlight. The only problem I have with it is the controls are very, very sensitive. Okay, so with this, you basically, as you present the gun, your support hand thumb comes down and you press down, and as soon as you release, it comes back. That's at the momentary, all right? If you press upward with your support hand, it locks it on, okay? My problem with that is it's so sensitive, because you don't even have to get to full lock to turn the light on, is that when I would be drawing out of a holster and going to present and pushing speed, I would actually have light NDs. So I would negligently discharge the light when I was going to make my grip, right? Basically whenever I didn't want to do it. Now, the biggest thing with that is if you're going to present the gun and you want to scan for something, it's my personal opinion that you should present the gun, turn on the light while you're doing so, and then you want to deliberately turn it off. You don't want to leave it to momentary mode. I know you can see a lot of videos out there on YouTube with a lot of guys just scanning and peeking and scanning and peeking, but are you really that fast at information processing would be the question I have. And if you are, then more power to you. I am not. So I would be more deliberate, scan, turn the light back off, scan, lights off, right? Because of this sensitivity, this is where a lot of people didn't like this unit, even though the output was actually pretty good on the HL models. The TLR1, a little bit weaker. Now, when we talk about the X300, this is the gun I carry. This is my Gen 4 19. This has an X300, right? Not the turbo. And the controls work in a very similar fashion. However, you have to be much more deliberate when you press down and turn the light on, right? And then deliberate to come back up when you turn that light back off again. To turn on the momentary function, it doesn't work in the same way. Momentary is you press in on the button, okay? Which isn't bad, but it's an awfully small button and you have to press pretty hard. And if you're not pressing directly behind it, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes. So again, you want to be very deliberate when you're activating that light. And the problem with it is that not so much bringing it on, but trying to turn it back off. And if we can't control our light, that can be very problematic. For me, this is where I think the paddle shifter really shines, because it has a ledge here, so you can have a nice positive purchase to activate the light. And right, and then, but also after it's on, you can turn the light off much easier because you have that whole ledge. You can go ahead and catch with your thumb and flip it back on and off very quickly. Okay, much easier, I would say, in my personal opinion, than having to use the smaller button that comes factory on the X300. You can do it with training. I know it's not necessary, but I think that this really does give you some benefit, especially under stress. And we're talking about wanting to be able to give yourself every advantage possible, especially for, I think they're like 30 bucks. It comes with the tool you need. You basically just pop the existing button off the back here and pop the paddle shifter on. There's a tiny little set screw you can kind of see in there, and you tighten that down, not too much, and that's it. And the guys at Emissary were even nice enough to go ahead and they actually sell it where it's the entire back door of the light unit itself, okay, with the paddle shifter already installed. So if you really don't want to, you know, play around with the little pry bar and popping the little guy off and everything, you can spend a little bit more money if your budget dictates it, and you can just replace the whole back door to this and swap it right back on the gun, and you're good to go. So I think it's really neat. I know a lot of the popular holster companies, this actually won't impede. So it works fine on my Safariland, and it also works on the T-Rex arms holsters. I even emailed the customer service guys there and got a response back saying it shouldn't be an issue, and it hasn't been an issue. I have a Gen 2 sidecar. I have no problems running this particular setup, the light, with the paddle shifter modification. So definitely worth it. A lot of guys that I've talked to that do run the X300 do like this. It's very popular, and they do make it for other models. So if you are looking for an extended you know, latch or tab here on the TLR1, they do make one. It doesn't work quite the same way because the controls are not quite the same on the TLR1. Basically, it extends it, but then you're eliminating the permanent on-off. You're basically giving yourself only momentary, I believe. So don't quote me on that. You can check out the paddle shifter at Emissary Development's website. That would be able to tell you more, and they make extensions for, I think, the TLR7 as well. So really, really innovative idea, very cheap, very affordable, very effective. So if you guys are looking at trying to take your game to the next level with your light manipulation, really you should be practicing that. You should be dry firing with that. If you find yourself having those issues, you know, training is always going to be the best solution, but if you're looking for that advantage, it's going to make it easier, get you there a little bit faster. I would definitely say checking out the paddle shifter is worth it. So hopefully this is helpful to you guys. Go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe, check out our other videos. This is a really big effort this year for us, is building our video channel and trying to bring you guys some good reviews and some good content that's going to answer some questions on things that kind of exist out there, but there's not a lot of video on it. Hopefully this is one of them and it helps you guys out.